Hello, I'm Meg Sullivan, and welcome to Done with Diets, where we get to speak with leading women's health and wellness experts to learn how to prioritize you, the busy, time-constrained modern woman. We're looking to make small but lasting changes that are going to help us create more health, time, and vitality. And today I'm so excited to announce my guest is Saenz. Mia is a transformational spiritual practitioner and media host. She's the creator of several self-love programs, including Beautiful As You Are. Now, Mia, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you, Meg. It's wonderful to be here, and what an amazing interview series that you're bringing to the world.
Thank you. I'm so excited.
Me too.
So now Mia's work teaches conscious self-love and feminine essence to put you in touch with the confident, sexy you that already exists. So, Mia, can you tell us a little bit about your work and your background?
Absolutely. Like everyone, I've had to grow into the person that I am today. And it's a lot of work. It really takes effort for us. But if we want to have a change in our life, if we want that transformation, if we want something beautiful, you do the self-love work. And in the very beginning, and this has been coming up in a lot of interviews lately, so I'm going to say it. In the very beginning, when I first started out, I kept pushing it off, saying, not now, not now, not now. And then I was literally on my deathbed, so it was like, when am I going to do it? Mm-hmm. So jumping in and doing it is incredible. And so I had to share that because everybody thinks that it looks so easy, and then when they start, they back off and they say, oh, it's so hard, it's so painful. It's not once we know who to go with and who to help and reach our hands out to someone for assistance. It's really amazing work.
Well, and it's funny what you just said, not now, not now, not now. And I think that's something that we hear in our heads a lot of, oh, it's not a good time. I'm too busy right now. And really, that's not true. Like you said, I mean, you were faced with this situation where if not now, when? Mm-hmm. You know?
That's so powerful because if we don't take the steps forward, it's just our self-sabotage, our inner critic, something that we become really familiar and friendly with and know how to control it instead of having that aspect of us control us.
Right, absolutely. So let's start with the basics. What is self-love?
Well, you did ask me also, and I realized I didn't answer. You asked me what I do, right?
Yeah,
so I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
I wanted that one aspect to be there. I'm a transformational self-love teacher, and I specialize in love and manifestation. So primarily self-love, conscious self-love, but I've been a relationship coach for years. We manifest partners. Actually, we manifest everything. We manifest money transferring across international waters. We manifest new homes. Whatever it is, I work with people and I manifest it. So, all the principles of love and conscious self-love and my programs really work towards making us manifestors in life. So that's what I do.
I love it. I love it. And it's so true. We do manifest everything. And I think I think The Secret, the book and the movie, I think really popularized this idea of manifestation. And it focused a lot around money and things, but there's so much more to manifestation than just the physical or the tangible. And that's, I think, where the body of your work lies. And it's a beautiful field.
Thank you. I was raised a metaphysician, even though I had a horrible, and I'll say it, shitty life, from my mother not being a very caring, loving, she loved me, but she wasn't the best mother. And so, fortunately, my upbringing helped saved me, more or less, in the fact that I was raised metaphysical, so I looked at things differently. And I started manifesting when I was 4. So, but we didn't call it manifesting.
Right.
And also, I believe manifestation is so much deeper, which we'll get into, than the law of attraction. It's so much deeper.
Yeah.
So
let's start with self-love. What is self-love?
Yay! I love it. Now, there's so many different aspects of self-love. Self-love is everything from affirmations to lighting candles, just honoring yourself. There are thousands of ways to practice self-love. The way that I work with people on practicing self-love is bringing the conscious aspect into it, bringing it deeper into our essence so that we can shift and change and move things at a very rapid pace. Whatever you're doing for yourself that's positive and beneficial, Awesome. Keep doing it because that's really what's important. What everybody is so unique that different techniques work differently for different people. But bringing in conscious self-love is really important. And that's the aspect of identifying consciously that you want to shift and change, that you are amazing. So in the beginning, sometimes it's hard for people to understand how fantastically amazing they are because their whole life they've allowed their inner critic to come up and say, no, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. And the thing is about that is we were born perfectly whole and beautiful. We're infinite souls born into these human bodies. And so when we realize that statement right there about ourselves, we can create and do anything. Here I said I'd been a metaphysician my whole life, but it took a long time for me to get past the not now, not now, not now, the self-sabotage. Oh, I love that. That would be so perfect for me, but not now. So I was literally punishing myself. And people do that with food, with other addictions. We do that in our life just because we are afraid of the pain that comes up when we do try to move forward. And understanding that, yes, when we heal ourselves or we work through issues that heal, there is pain, but it becomes less and less and less as we become more profound at our work and more dedicated to who we are. So it's all about practicing.
Yeah. And I think what you said was so important. You used the example of addictions or food, but I think of it sometimes as not just what we're doing to ourselves, but it's what we're not doing to ourselves or not allowing ourselves to do. Can you talk a little bit about that in relation to self-love?
That is also very much self-sabotage. When we don't honor ourselves to give ourselves what we need, when we say, no, I'm not going to do that walk that I really need, my body so needs, or exercise, or eat right. Oh, I'm going to have another piece of cake because I really want it right now and screw the diet, or whatever it is. It can be on any type of aspect for us. When we put that negative aspect, when we don't think it is, we think, oh, wow, we're in control, we're being powerful. But to look at exactly what we're doing with ourselves is the key to moving forward. And so that's where we go from the negative into the positive, because not doing things for ourselves is just as harmful as doing negative things for ourselves. Right. And so we really have to take self-responsibility, self-discovery, and look at the aspect of us in order to see what needs changing. How can I improve? And when we ask these questions and we do this seeking, they do come, the answers come, because a lot of people in the beginning say, well, I don't know what to do. Well, there's so many people out there just ready to reach their hand to you for help. Grab it, take it. You don't have to have somebody's hand forever, right. But to have guidance and assistance to show us ways to get around things that show obstacles for us is very, very powerful. And that is a sense of self-love, to move around those obstacles. Like it would be like a mountain and you have to drive around the mountain. Well, if you could drive right through the mountain, wouldn't that be cooler and quicker?
Yeah.
So taking someone's hand, the secret door opens up and you're exposed to something different. It's easier and smoother and amazing that we don't know until we know it.
Mm-hmm. And it's also that confidence of knowing that you're taking the hand of somebody who's been through this. They know the whole walk, and they're going to help you get from point A to point B, and they're going to show you that you can do it. I love that.
Exactly. It's perfect. I love that you brought that up because that's very important.
And that's a lot of what you do, because you have an incredible story that we'll get into a little bit later. But so how does self-love support taking care of our bodies and just our health in general?
Self-love, if you decide that there's different levels that we all are in. There's the levels of taking us out of trauma and drama from childhood. There's the levels of getting to understand who we are for, say, working out, for our mind, for setting our intentions, our mindset, our focus. All of this stuff, prayer, meditation, eating right, working out, works different aspects of who we are. And so creating our mindset also will create and shift in every single area. So mindset and understanding the fears behind what stops us regarding food and, say, wanting to trim down or plump up or whatever. Because there are some people who are very, very thin, and we look at them and say, well, aren't they lucky? Well, they don't feel so lucky, so it can go either way. So really understanding where you want to go with your progress, and then working it from there, working your mindset, working your encouragement, working your love. So self-love regarding diets and stuff is just, how much do I love myself? My body feels achy, so maybe I should cut out alcohol, or maybe I should cut out something that brings up inflammation. These are things that I've had to go through, and as we get older in life and our body changes, we have to adjust and change with it, because we are a human, the spirit is in a human body, and to love that body and marry it with our soul, to understand our body totally, is really honoring our temple. Everyone's heard that word, we live in a temple.
Right.
So to honor our body with good nutrition, with sleep, with cleansing or cleaning, with mindset, meditation. A diet just isn't a physical eating. A diet is our mental thought process. A diet is our physical exercise, because it's a way of life. It's not a temporary thing. And the word diet, when you transform it into, I don't have any acronyms, but I'll just say, when you transform it, you can think of it as a way of life, not as something that's a temporary thing, because temporary things don't work. We know that. Long term is what changes and shifts us.
Yeah, that's what's sustainable. And that's actually what the Greek word of diet means, way of life. Mm-hmm. It doesn't even necessarily have anything to do with food. It's just a way of life. Mm-hmm. So now you have an incredible story about your about your transformation. And you mentioned it a little bit earlier about you were literally on your deathbed. Could you share that with us?
Sure. I'll just go quickly into the early part. As I mentioned before, I had a really rough childhood, and that consisted of physical abuse and emotional and mental abuse from my mom. I was also molested from my Girl Scout leader's husband for 6 years, from 6 to 12. I had a stalker at 17, and I married at 18 to get away from it all. Mm-hmm. And of course, my father died when I was 13. So it's like, there was a lot of confusion, a lot of garbage. So I was one of those blessed young girls, I guess, that had a perfect body and when I was younger, and also attractive. And so I got a lot of attention, and I didn't have a supportive mother to show me or guide me. I had no one. So I ended up, my husband wouldn't even support me, my first husband. He was like, no, I love that men love you. And so I ate to get through every culture that paid attention to me. I ate. You're looking at me, you're not going to look at me for long. So I got to a point where my body was very, very unhappy. I stopped working out. I was totally an athlete my whole life up until I was 18 to 20, about 21 I stopped. And so I associated the attention with being injured again, physically touched, injured. So for me, to put on weight to block people was what was really important. And so unfortunately, it shifted and changed my physical being. Developed a thyroid condition that nothing's wrong with it. It just stopped working, We develop these things within our body, that it's not healthy to put on an unnecessary weight gain. So I also had an accident probably about, let me count back, almost 10 years ago. 9/11 killed me. Mm-hmm. Was really, really hard on me. I got really depressed after that. My frontal lobe short-circuited, and so I wasn't able to even communicate properly, but I was an intelligent woman before that, and so it was really hard to pretend during my waking hours, which were very few, that and I had young children, it was really hard to pretend that I could function and stuff. So I had also been in an accident where boxes had hit me on the head, and so I had in physical therapy 4 times a week. My body was starting to close down my organs, and I was in a wheelchair. I couldn't walk to the neighbor's house. In the house, I walked with a cane. I couldn't enjoy my children, take care of them, anything like that. So on my birthday, about 8 years ago, I had this epiphany where this, almost like it was like the Red Seas or the seas parted. I mean, it was that profound. And I woke up and it felt like a different day for the first time gosh, I think it was the first time in 9 years. It was a different day for me. And getting emotional, it was really a very beautiful experience. I thought, wow, I'm halfway through my life. I'm supposed to die in 2 years. I love my children and I have nothing to leave them. I'm so afraid of what it's going to be like to get me out of this house when I go. So I gave myself one of my first processes that I work with people if they are unguided into what they want is a dream, believe, create method. And so I allowed myself to envision what my life would look like if I had been happy. And so for my birthday, I granted myself this wish. And so I thought about my relationship. We all want love. I thought about my relationship with my husband, and it wasn't, I loved him. He was a great guy. He had cheated on me, but, we were not best friends anymore. And what would that look like? And so I was thinner and I was with a sexy man, and it felt really good. So then I just started increasing from there. I increased, what my body could look like if I lost the weight, what my career would look like, what my relationship with my children, not what they look like, but what the connection between me and my children would be. With that, it was so profound and so powerful that I believed I could create it, and that's all it took for me. And I took the steps. I gave myself 4 months from my birthday to January 1st, 2009, to find my method, to build my inner core, get out of the chair, which I did, find the food ways in which I was going to eat, figure out a workout, and just say yes to life, which had been gone and really fleeting very, very fast. And I knew that on January 1st, 2009, it wasn't a resolution, it was my new birthday. And that I would do everything my children asked me to do with grace. It may take me a while to build the strength up, but I would do it. And literally that happened. I followed through. I can't even tell you, Meg, how amazing this experience was to recreate my life and to know that I would do it or die trying. And within, I think it was 30 days or 45 days, I had lost about that amount of weight.
Wow.
And I was working out at the gym every day and going for walks and eating really, really well. And my sister said, Mia, this doesn't happen to people. They don't build their strength this quickly. And I knew I could. I knew I came humanly from strong lineage and that kind of stuff. But really it was seeing my true divinity of my magnificence. It took me years to understand that I was a magnificent being, just like every single other person. And so the weight came off fast. In 7 months, I lost 140 pounds, no surgery, all heart-mind connection. Yeah. I started living a remarkable life. I became a published author. I started dating the hottest, sexiest men that were out there. They just really made me go, woo! And so I had some really super amazing relationships that I created. And when you do this for yourself, when you get published, when you change your body, when you just do your goals and you accomplish them, you realize I am a creator in life. And that's the magnificence about self-love and everything else, is we create beyond our wildest dreams. And so then what's there from there on? It's to create more. Mm-hmm. And we grow so much. I am not even a glimpse of the woman I used to be. I couldn't even look in the mirror or take care of myself for probably 8 or 9 years. I mean, that's a long time. It was 3 years from the accident, but before that, it was the frontal lobe burning out from 9/11. Mm-hmm. And they told me, your brain is like a computer. Your motherboard is burnt out. You will never regain a fast speech calculation or anything. I am a very, very, very smart woman. Mm-hmm. And I have created a huge business for myself, and it's magnificent. So I think that stuff is crap. We can change who we are. We can change our life. It's focus, dedication, and understanding. That's where the conscious self-love comes in. That's where the understanding fear comes in. That's where the mind shift of your consciousness. That's also where manifestation comes in. Because when we understand self-love and how magnificent we are and our reliance and our divine connection to God or to the universe or source or creator, whatever you want to call it, when we understand that unique connection, that we are that, you can't, and you start creating, you can't go backwards.
Right.
You have to move forward because it's so much fun.
Well, you have spirit and life written all over your face in your smile. And one thing that stuck out to me, what you said, and I think this is a very female trait, was that thinking about how your children's lives could be different. Thinking about it in terms of somebody else. Sometimes that's the kick in the butt that we need, or the fuel that we need to start to change ourselves, especially when we think of it in terms of our kids.
Right.
And
It was powerful.
yes,
Yeah, right.
yeah. And I've been saying on this summit, I want you to do it for yourself because you deserve it. But if that's the fuel that it takes, then we'll start there, because any self-care is good.
Right.
So
I think I mentioned to you when you and I first met, and you were seeing if I was a good fit for this interview. I had mentioned to you that it was the only legacy was seeing if I could survive. Even though I had this vision and all, but it was the only legacy that was tangible enough for me. And as I tell people, when they do shift and change their lives dramatically, and I work with people who literally overnight almost totally change, when you do that, it's really brilliant to see how magnificent. Yes, we expand our consciousness, so we can never go back unless we really have this self-loathing, and then we really need support that way. But to move forward, we're going to keep expanding because we're going to create something magnificent, and then we know, oh, I can do something even more. I can do something more. So my life has turned into this fun game. I call it all a game. It really is a game. Which level of this video game am I going to?
Yeah.
Because I know I can do exactly what I set my mind out. I may not know exactly what I want to do in that moment, but I do know that magic is coming. And that's because I've opened myself up to the concept and the ability that this is present for me to acquire and to be. So that's one really important aspect of conscious self-love, is to understand you can create anything you want. You may need help from somebody to support you. And we all have coaches. I still have coaches that I utilize for different things. I have an energy coach. I have, different coaches like that. So even though I'm an energy healer, it's to keep me in my proper alignment.
Right.
I also have a nutrition coach, and I'm going to get a workout coach. And, all this is to support who we are. Reach our hands out. I know I do, and it's fun because I move through life so fast, like on a quantum roller coaster, a good way, woo, like the luge, woo, that I don't want anything else. It's incredible.
And we're not supposed to do it alone. And I think that's really hard for women to say, oh, I should be able to do this. She's doing this, she's doing that, and this one's super mom. And
it's really amazing because we don't know what somebody else is thinking. First of all, as we grow spiritually and we get our act together, we understand it's none of our business, and we get rid of jealousy. And that's really probably one of the most important things I'd like to share with women is get rid of jealousy, because it has no place. Number one, because you're incredibly magnificent, and you're holding yourself back by being upset with somebody else's possessions, husbands, whatever it is. You can create this for yourself. When we look at that is really, really powerful stuff. We can have exactly what we see somebody else having, the good stuff, because it's available to us too. That sense of jealousy or looking at somebody else at what they have is an energy waster. It's a time waster. It's unloving. It's literally, it's not allowing us to live in our magnificence. When we become queen, which we all have the ability and we all have the right, and men are kings, when we become queen, a queen does not get jealous of the woman over there. A queen does not get jealous of somebody's car, because she has exactly what she needs. She manifests and demonstrates this.
I love that. We all have the ability to be queen.
Exactly, we do. There's enough for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. So what are some of your clients' struggles, and what are the tools that you use to work with them?
It's really incredible, because I've worked with women from every scale, from severe depression, from molestation, from abandonment issues, major, everyone, we all have abandonment issues. They start from birth, not getting the bottle on time, not getting picked up, not getting changed. Society and everything else throws garbage on. One of the most flowing themes for a woman is their confidence, their beauty, their sex appeal. They want it, but they don't feel they have it. So that's why I utilize, and I'd like to give a couple of tools if it's okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, great. That's why I'm going to give you guys a couple of the most powerful tools that are out there, and it's all within yourself. And some people do this type of work, but I have to tell you, I've seen so much incredible results from the mirror work that I give where you actually tell yourself, I love you. You stand in front of the mirror in the morning, like within the first 15 minutes of getting up. So whether you put your coffee on and go to the bathroom, you'll stand in front of the mirror. And the reason you do it in the morning is because our thoughts get transformed throughout the day. We start feeling sometimes negative about ourselves, or we're busy, or our boss does this, or our husband does that, or the babies are crying, or whatever it is. We do it in the morning. And so you stand in front of a mirror with a pad of paper just for your mirror work, because you're going to record your feelings and thoughts. And they may not be pretty feelings and thoughts at first, and that's okay, because you will get there. But the first time I looked in the mirror at myself and said, I love you, I instantly said, no, I hate you. And I started crying. And I was almost 25 years old. So I've been doing self-love work for half my life. And so it's really very powerful when we can do this and look at ourselves. And the more we do it, so I recommend 3 to 5 minutes 4 times a week. And so the more we get to know who we are, the more we look at our eyes and see the beautiful colors and the shapes and the eyebrows and the nose and the mouth. And you may say, well, what the hell am I looking at myself for? It's because our body is numb. As humans, we're numbed out. We need to understand our body and our body work so that we can understand our body love, and we can understand who we are, so that we can literally marry our body with our soul. When we are comfortable with our body, no matter what shape or size, we're beautiful right now. So when we get comfortable with ourselves, our soul, we allow our soul to be who it wants to be, who it's supposed to be. And that's the important thing about this work, is that our soul needs to guide us, not our ego, nothing else, but our soul. That's where we find our passion, our love, our joy. So mirror work is really important. And I allow you, by one of my free gifts is part of one of the tools that I'm going to give you. So I allow you to write me if you're having problems, because, and we will answer. Usually my assistants or coaches send it to me anyway. So we'll give you ideas. We'll help talk you through it, because I never give work or tools without the ability to say, I'm having a really hard time. I've never been able to look at myself in the mirror, whatever the reason or the belief is. And, there's other ways to look and to work on these tools. We adjust them slightly for you. The next one that's really important is the inner child meditation. And that's on the CD that I'm giving away. And the inner child meditation takes us to re-raising to an emotional level, emotional intelligent level, our younger us. We were left behind. We were unloved. Nobody will love us the way that we can love ourselves. And that is something that most people don't understand. When they hear me say it, they go, wait a minute, you just blew my mind. And it's like, it's so true. Nobody will be disappointed by somebody, our kids, our husbands, our mothers, our fathers. We're also disappointed by ourselves. Yeah. So the inner child meditation is really important as we grow our emotional, intellectual self by actually going back into a meditative process at age 3. So I ask my people to do odd years. So that would be 3, 5, 7, 9, 11, 13, 15, and even 17 if you had a rough, that age before you became an adult. And so those are the ages that we start preschool, kindergarten. When you look at the odd years, it's like, oh my God, they are primary that way. And so you spend at least 4 weeks with each age. Now, if you're having a difficult time with 3 years old or 5 or 7 or 9, stay in that age group until you've healed and resolved it, because your inner child will come up, your baby, your little girl who you were, or little boy, will literally be asking and talking to you. It's like your subconscious is coming forward in order to support and grow and re-raise and love that little you who you were. And the most magnificent thing about this and the conscious self-love work is as we grow and as we become completely emotionally developed, that inner voice of that young child literally stands up when we're having our most difficult times and says, no, don't do that. Wake up. That's not right. Stop it. I've had it happen to me. My clients have it, it freaks them out the first time it happens to them. And of course, it's not supposed to happen all the time because we're not in distress all the time.
Right.
And the more you work yourself, you're less in distress. So say you start out with 1,000 issues, you just have barely a handful by the time in a couple years after you worked all through all your garbage. So it's a really magnificent tool, and that's on the CD. So those two together, there's other stuff that I teach too. Those two together are my most ninja kung fu tools that I know, and that's why I just share them all over the world. I put it out there because when you tell yourself you love yourself, you know that as you begin to feel that you love yourself and that it's okay to do that, you're breaking through all these barriers of even past life garbage. We're here to, you had mentioned that about women. I can't actually, it's hard for me to, it's about love and what we're here to do. Our souls are here to love. So when men or women understand that our main purpose for our soul is to understand love more, and we need relationships to do that, we need interaction, it's so important to allow ourselves that joy and that beauty. If you look at your life, besides the self-work, the most magnificent growth you're ever going to have, and you may be so angry at the guys you date or whatever, but the most magnificent work you're going to do is in a relationship, even with your girlfriends, your sisters, because it pushes our buttons and it makes us look at ourselves. It makes us take self-responsibility and say, wow, I had no idea I was triggered by that. I had no idea this was coming up. So we learn to change all these beliefs and craziness that once were, that really are not the truth about us. They're just erroneous lies. And when we understand that, we grow in quantum style. We do leaps and bounds. And it's also getting rid of fear. We talked about this in the beginning, how people, and it's not that they don't value themselves enough. Right. It's that nobody has taught them how to love themselves. So how to say, it's okay. Just think of how much you're going to grow, how amazing you're going to be. I love to be by myself. I'd like to just share this about the stillness that we get. I, as an abused person from my history, I could never be by myself. And this is a very common thread throughout society, because one little thing that may not be abusive to somebody else can trigger another individual, and it can be the most aggressive thing. And we need to allow ourselves to honor that in ourselves so that we can heal it and honor it in others. It doesn't matter if one person has had something more crazy than someone else. It's how our psyche and our human essence with our soul accept it. So it's really important to do that. The inner stillness is so amazing. I used to never be able to go into a room without radio or TV on. I had to have something on because I was that distressed. I could get caught up in a book, and maybe that's why I was an avid reader at some points in my life, because if I got caught up in the story or something, it became fantasy. But even being a mother, I couldn't be by myself. I'd have to talk to my kids, or I'd have to put on a cartoon, or I'd have to do something because it was too painful.
You just needed a distraction?
I did, and a lot of people are that way. It's called an empty hole. A therapist once saw my son and said, I've been working with your family for a while, and he has a hole inside of him. He was really little. He's like a brilliant child. He used to buy and sell stuff. Even when he was really little, like 6 and 7, I'd let him do it on eBay through my account. And he bought his first computer, I think, when he was 10, because, he's just a moneymaker. Yeah. And she was like, you have an emptiness within you. And so I started to look at that and I thought, well, what does that mean? She's not saying that about me. What does that mean? So when we examine the ones we love that are from us or with us, it really sheds light on us too. And I've worked with my sons, both my sons, I started to see them, and as a mother, and I know you are too. When we look at our children as spiritual or as a soul being or as a spirit, person, we take all the human elements of garbage away and we see the most magnificent creatures, beings that are there. When I changed looking at my kids when they were like 8 years old, my oldest one, so the other one was like 6, when I removed that away from all and it's okay if your kids do sports, that's great. Mine would want to do it and then they would not want to do it. So everybody's talking about, oh, my kids did this, or my kids got this grade and my kids got that grades. And I wouldn't really brag about my kids' grades because they were the top in their class, but it wasn't necessary. So I would start to look at their soul and appreciate their true being. And they have grown up. They're still young. They're 19 and 20, 21. They're incredible because I allowed them to experience what their soul would be like and what it would be like to live a life of non-superficiality. So when we do that even for our children, it's a huge, amazing growth spurt for them. So my son has worked through his empty hole. I've worked through my empty hole. And the first time I sat in quietness and just really loved everything around me, the trees, I do a morning walk every day just to commune with nature. Now, I live in Los Angeles. I live in a very big city, but I still go into a quiet neighborhood, which is in my neighborhood, and I look at the trees. I look at the way they move. I look at the way the leaves are formed. I look at the squirrels running around if I can graciously see them, or the plants that are blooming. I connect to the grass, and I teach clients to do that. You do this walk, and you absolutely connect to anything. Even if you're in the city, there's cement. So what? There's a piece of grass right there. If we get in touch with that essence and that purity, it really does. It's like Mother Earth coming back to heal us, and we do get through that emptiness. So when you can be alone and by yourself, it's magnificent. It's the most amazing feeling I have, and I would never give it up for $1 billion, what I've grown and who I've become. And I would love everybody to have that sense of peace and harmony and love about themselves, and to actually say in a non-arrogant way, I'm amazing, I'm a rock star, and really understand what that means, that I can accomplish anything. I can create. I am just as valuable as that person over there. And let's understand that we're all amazing.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. We need to understand that. And I love what you said about walking in nature. A friend told me a really good analogy, and she said it doesn't matter how heavy or things that you've been through, nature and your soul can still come out of that. Just look at tree roots with concrete. I mean, tree roots can literally break up the concrete. It'll thrive.
And I relate our soul essence to nature like that too. It's beautiful. One of the most magnificent things about trees that I love, besides the airy fairy leaves, are the roots. They're so powerful and deep. And when you use it as a metaphor even to understand the depth of who we are, I have this program also called Connecting to Your Passion Core that's in Beautiful As You Are Now. And what it is it identifies what we're passionate about and creates an archetype for women. And literally we use a tree form. So, different sections of our life represent parts of the tree that we dig into and get to know about ourselves. And I almost said I challenge you. Okay, I'll challenge you. I invite everyone to look at themselves, because we are so beautiful. The first time, it was after 9/11, I had mentioned that I was short-circuited. I was in a facility for for 5 weeks. Best thing I ever did. First transformational experience I had. Every day, the director of the facility would come into my group, and I knew that there was something special about me. I've always known that since I was a little girl. And each person, if you feel that, claim it and move forward. But she'd say, Mia, you're a miracle. And I'd say to her, but we're all miracles. There were like 12 or 13 of us in a group. And I'd say, but we're all miracles. And the interesting thing about that is I didn't allow myself for several years later to understand that I'm a miracle. Yes, I'm like an advocate of others. I always have been since I was a little girl. But to understand, which is pure self-love, to understand I am a miracle beyond belief. I'm here, I'm breathing, I'm living my purpose or working on my purpose in life. I am a miracle. I'm a creation just like everybody else of the divine. When I saw that and claimed it for myself, which is probably the most important self-love thing that I did, my life changed. I saw things differently. When you can see the beauty in somebody else and you're literally almost looking at their soul, you're not going to run up to, I mean, I do have friends that do this and it kind of freaks me out a bit, but they're like, I love everybody. And I'm like, well, I do too universally, but I'm not going to go up to that man and hug him and say, oh my God. Because one, they're not going to believe it. And two, it's a little bit nutty. So we can love, universally. We can love the man that's homeless on the street and help him if we want to. That's great. But, there's a difference to understanding the depth of love is what I'm trying to get at. If we go at it on a universal level, but on an individual level, person by person, and connect deeply, we're not doing it. Here's the thought that I've never thought about until just this moment, and I'm so grateful that I brought this up, because we're not doing it as a mass. When people are running up to everybody, I love you, I love you, I love everybody, and we see that in social media. The thing is that they're not allowing their essence, their beauty, to connect with another. They're doing it on a mass scale.
Right.
And so when we allow ourselves that beauty within ourselves to connect to another in each experience, it's really beautiful because we see ourselves and we honor somebody else in the true essence of who we are.
I love that. That's beautifully said.
Thank you.
Now, Mia, I know that you have a lot going on and I want to honor your time. I know that you're a busy woman. Can I ask you one more question?
You can ask me anything.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I love this.
So we talked a lot about this process of self-discovery. So how does going through this process in whatever way or whatever format works for you, how does going through this process of self-discovery bring the confidence, bring the inner peace, and ultimately bring, I guess, success, however you decide to define that term? How
can it not?
That's true.
That's
true. How do I argue with that?
I, from my own experience, I didn't know I could be who I was. I mean, I knew as a child that I had amazing things to do. There were moments and sparks that we all, if we start to listen to ourselves through prayer. I didn't know at age 7 I was TMing transcendental meditation when my mom would make us pray for 20 minutes at the end of the hall. That sounds funny, at the end of the hall. But we had our morning ritual. The kids did, she didn't participate, but she made us do it. And so when I had to pray for 20 minutes, and I said all my gratitude to God and connectedness, and I would just start to TM, and I didn't realize that I was taking care of myself in a very glorious way. I'm very grateful for all the experience, good and bad, that it brought me because I can help others. So there's just so much to looking at ourselves. When we know and get these sparks of brilliance about us, go for it. I had a girlfriend several years back, maybe 6 years ago, say to me, and much younger than I was, say to me, Mia, I know that I was made for greatness. I don't know what it is yet. And I've watched her unfold over a few years after that, I started to see it unfold. And I watched her unfold, and to honor that in someone else, not just in yourself, but to honor it in yourself and see it is the biggest gift to yourself and to someone else, because we take one step upon another. And greatness is greatness in any way that look at an avalanche. It starts out slow coming down the mountain and it becomes bigger and bigger and bigger. Or a huge wave, it starts out slow and you see it moving through the water and then it becomes a big crested thing. Movement, action, creation is magnificent in any form. You can only grow grander and bigger. You can't go backwards unless you are really abusive to yourself and just say, I'm going to put myself in a cage, in a hole, and I'm not going to do anything. Once we grow, we keep growing like that snowball, like that avalanche, like that tsunami wave. And greatness we create greatness, and we begin to understand our confidence, our love for ourselves, our, for me in my work, I know that what I teach and what I speak about is so profound because I feel it in my soul. So when we connect to our soul essence of greatness, it just keeps growing more and more and more. So for anybody who wants to change and grow, know that each step is taking you there. Ask questions to yourself, not in a sense of victimhood or neediness. We talk to God and the universe as, what can I do? Show me. What can I do to bring in something better? Or I'm ready. Bring it on. And remember, when you ask for something magnificent from God, it will come. So don't be surprised. You have to be ready.
Right.
I do this all the time. If something shifts in my day, I'm like, okay, Father, I'm ready. You brought me here. Bring it on. And within moments, I'll get an urgent person or something who needs my, like if a space opened up and I'm like, okay, so this was booked for somebody. What am I to do? Bring it on, and then I'll get a message or something. I mean, it's incredible working and knowing how to work the flow and ebb of who we are and our space and our consciousness. And really, when they talk about it, and some people don't understand, we are of one consciousness. We truly are on a level, when we raise our vibration to a certain level, we truly are at a very scientifically profound place that why would we not want to, if we see magnificent things about us as we're growing, why would we not want to see what's even further not over the rainbow, but what's even further out there for us to live, feel, and express, because it's all magnificence. And when we grow and appreciate ourselves, it keeps growing as well.
I love it. Mia, that is so beautiful. I have truly, truly enjoyed and learned so much from talking to you. You're incredibly inspiring, and I know that you and your work has literally changed the lives of thousands of women.
Thank you.
So if our listeners want to find out more about you and your work and where they can get those tools that you mentioned, the inner child meditation, where can they go to find that?
Well, it's my free gift to you, my CD, Spirit Life. And Spirit Life has the inner child meditation. It has contentment, which is, I went into the studio and just said, okay, Father, I want you to talk through me to people so that they know what you sound like. So it's all about how magnificent and brilliant people are. It's beautiful grounding. A lot of people use that for their morning rituals, I've been told. Then there is Restful Intentions for those who have a hard time resting and waking up feeling happy and all that. And then there's grounding on that. So that's a gift that you'll give them, right? The link for that?
We'll include the link, yeah.
Okay, awesome. So that's my gift to you. And I just want to say that in the 3 months that it's been available, actually I think it's going on 4 months now, we've had over 700 people download that, which is incredible.
Wow.
Which is incredible. So it's very, very powerful, and it's going up next month probably after your series. It's going up for sale. So get it while you can. We'll allow you to get it, but Amazon won't allow sale and free at the same time. So I've been waiting for this, and then there will be another free beautiful thing from me down the road. And so miasaenz.com, that's Saenz, it's Spanish. miasaenz.com is where you can find me. If you look now, you'll see my website, and in a few weeks, or maybe the new one will be up, I'm not sure, but everything you can write us, either my team members at Team Mia will write you back, or I will. I like to stay with my hands in the pie, meaning that I love to be connected to people, and I'm very open to talk and to be there for people, because sharing our love, our experience, our knowledge, and who we are is the biggest gift we can give somebody else. And it's a gift that I would want from somebody. So that's why I'm here for people.
Thank you so much.
And
there's one more thing, not to sound greedy. I remember talking about this, but I can't remember if it was included in our conversations over email. Bella Mia, the magazine.
Oh, yes!
I don't want to forget that.
Oh, really? Because I believe that every woman is beautiful right now, just right now. And I help women find that inner light to discover their own beauty and confidence and power we are so powerful, that I created a magazine that I'm competing. I know that's a horrible word, but it's not a coaching magazine. It's going to go up for sale in about a year and a half or almost a year. So we'd like to allow you to have a year membership for free, and it's a very transformational, beautiful magazine. So it looks beautiful, and it has holistic well living information in there and transformation, things about food for thought, living in the new paradigm as a spiritual and emotional wellness. There's things about body image, sexual wellness, and self-love. There's a love section too with love, amazing love speakers. And one thing that I have to say that I'm so fortunate that I created this life I did is I interview, well, hundreds of people a year. And so not just on camera, but also on my radio show. So I have a slew of amazing people who write for us, and it's incredible. So Bellamia Magazine, I have to share this. It's not about me. Yes, I've been called Bellamia, but it's about subconsciously. Everything for me is about self-love and subconscious, how it settles into our being and we absorb it. So when you look at Bellamia, it's beautiful me, beautiful mine. So I had literally 3 nights of downloads right before the new year when I was creating this magazine, telling me the name had to change. It had to be Italian, all this stuff. And so it was beautiful visions that came through my sleep pattern that helped me create this magazine. So that's another free gift for you guys. And please follow it so that you have, when you go to the site and you click follow, it'll allow you to know when the brand new ones come out. Also, we're looking at putting it on a different platform than it's on now. So just keep up on the, on the page, and because it's incredible. And as I said, we're competing with O and Oprah and some really powerful magazines. So, and it's yours.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Well, I can't say thank you enough. I am filled with so much gratitude. Mia, I so appreciate you being here and sharing your work and your story with our listeners, and your free gifts, which there's so many of them. Thank you. I'm overwhelmed.
Thank you.
But
this is beautiful. Thank you for all your work that you do.
Thank you. And for our listeners, we will see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place, delivered right to your inbox with our next interview. Thank you.